Hello everyone. So once again I welcome you all to your English 2 class, and here in this class we are going to start louder than a clap of thunder. Now last class though I started this one, but there were few confusions on your part, so I thought that today from the very beginning we shall be starting it again. Okay, now when we start it here, before that you should know what is hyperbole. We have already learned few things like we have learned what is simile, what is metaphor, and what is alliteration. Now we shall be knowing what is hyperbole. Okay, so for that you should know that in a poem or in any sort of writing we use hyperbole just to exaggerate. Exaggerate means just in order to make the situation or to make the expression more impressive, more appealing, more serious, we use something which is more than extra. Like when we say, I called you 1,000 times. I called you 1,000 times. Now literally, I don't call you or anybody doesn't call 1,000 times. 1,000 times when we say, that means in order to stress or in order to give the emphasis on the situation that I have called you many times. Okay, many times I have called you, in order to denote that I will be saying I have called you 1,000 times. Okay, so this is what hyperbole is. Now in your book page number 81, you go to page number 81. Here you will be finding louder than a knight in armor jumping from a 10-foot wall. So this is hyperbole. That means this is being said which is more than extra. Now here also you will be finding the example like he is taller than the tallest giraffe. This is also impossible thing, but to denote or to show how much tall he is, it has been said that he is taller than the tallest giraffe. Or you will be finding in the next few lines, it was longer than a road that winds up a mountain. So these are some expressions of hyperbole. Hyperbole means when we exaggerate something, when we say something which is more than extra, which is literally not possible, but we say it just to make the situation more serious, just to give emphasis on what we are saying. Okay, so in this poem you will be finding the uses of hyperbole. This is a hyperbolic poem, and at the same time this is a very humorous one. Why humorous one? Because in this poem a particular style has been followed. What is that style? The style is that here many things are being mentioned, many sounds are being mentioned. As you know, here you will be finding the mention of 8 sounds in each stanza. First stanza you will be finding 8 sounds are mentioned. Second stanza again you will be finding 8 sounds are mentioned. Now these sounds, the different kinds of sounds, the different variations of sound, sometimes the sounds are, if you listen to these sounds, it depends on the situation. Sometimes the sounds are very much disturbing. So here it has been mentioned, these series of sounds or these many sounds, these many types of sounds are mentioned just to give emphasis on what is being concluded in the last line. What is that? The last line, the poet is revealing that it is the snoring sound of his father, the nasal sound that comes during the sleep. So the snoring sound of his father, which is more loud, which is louder than all these sounds he is mentioning here. Okay, now the name of this poem, which is louder than a clap of thunder. Clap of thunder means that thunderstorm, the sound, the rigorous, the rumbling sound of the thunderbolt. Okay, the thunderbolt, the rigorous or the what you can say, the high-pitched sound of the thunder. That is what is a clap of thunder. Okay, clap of thunder means the thunderbolt sound or the single high-pitched sound of thunder. Okay, so clap of thunder. Next one, louder than a clap of thunder, louder than an eagle screams. Screaming sound is the high-pitched sound, or you can say when somebody is making a shouting sound in a very high-pitched voice, somebody is making a noise, that is a screaming sound. So the eagle's sound, when the eagle screams, when the eagle makes the noise, louder than a dragon blunders. Out of the movement of the dragon, a sound is created, where the dragon very clumsily, very whimsically, very casually, when the dragon is walking, when the dragon is moving here and there, so the sound that is produced, we will call it a blundering sound. So the movement of the dragon. So the first three lines tells us louder than the clap of thunder, that means louder than the high-pitched thunderbolt, the sound of the thunderbolt, the thundering sound before the storm starts. And then louder than an eagle screams, before the sound of the eagle, the sound or the screaming, or you can say the shouting sound of the eagle, the very high-pitched sound of the eagle. Louder than a dragon blunders, when the dragon is moving here and there, when the dragon is casually strolling, when the dragon is casually moving from one place to another place, the sound that is produced out of the movement of the dragon, we will call it a blundering sound. Okay, so that sound, or a dozen of football teams, when a dozen of football teams, when 12 football teams are together, when football teams, we know when they play or when they practice, they make a huge noise because of they will be passing the ball to someone else. He will be saying that you pass it to me, and then this way, that way. So this, the sound that is produced, you all have the first-hand experience of this if you have played football. So if 12 football teams, they are together, the sound that will be produced together, that sound is being also referred to here. Next, louder than a 4-alarmer. Now 4-alarmer, what is this? Alarmer is the sound, the alarm sound, the sound of the alarm at the fire station. Now 4-alarmer, why 4-alarmer? The devastativeness, as per the, if the fire is more devastative, there will be more alarmer. Now this alarmer will actually tell us how many firefighters will go to that place. Firefighters means those people who will be, means when there is to extinguish the fire, they will be going to that place of fire. Okay, so one fire alarmer means 20 firefighters will go. Now this way it will increase. 2 fire alarmers means 40 fire alarmers, and some commandos, they will be going. So this way, fire alarmer, when 4 alarmer means the devastativeness of the fire is more, and the sound of the alarmer also will be more. In order to give emphasis on the sound of the alarmer, that 4 alarmer means the sound will be louder. Okay, so here the meaning is also given. 4 alarmer means alarms at the fire station. The bigger the fire, the more the alarms. So if the fire is more devastating, if the fire is not getting extinguished, then there it needs more alarmer. That means the more number of alarms will be rang, and what will happen? More people will go. More people of the fire brigade, they will go more in number. Next one, or a rushing waterfall. Rushing, you know, we say you rush to that place, you go to that place hurriedly. So that means what? In a very hurried manner, in a very quick way. Rushing waterfall means the waterfall, the water is falling in a very rapid manner, in a very speedy manner, in a very fast way. So rushing waterfall, the speedy waterfall. It will also create a huge noise, a very high-pitched sound it will create, because it will be falling in a speed, and also it will be falling from a higher place. So when it will be falling, it will create a very loud sound. Louder than a knight in armor. Knight, as you know, are the medieval warriors. They were the warriors who used to ride on the horses. You have read it in my books, the poem. So knights, they used to wear a kind of a shield. a kind of a metal covering, because if somebody comes to stab him, so he can, his body will be protected with that shield. Okay, so the metal covering or the shield is called armor. Now here what is being said, louder than a knight in armor who is jumping from a 10-foot wall. So when he will be jumping from a 10-foot wall, the sound will be produced. The sound that will be produced, so that sound is being mentioned here. When the knight, that means the medieval warrior or the warrior, he will be wearing the armor, he will be wearing the shield in his body. That means why it is being mentioned that he is wearing the armor, that means a huge battle is going on, a serious battle is going on, and there he is jumping from a 10-foot wall. So the sound that will be produced while he will be jumping from a 10-foot wall. Okay, I hope the first stanza is clear to you. Next one, louder than an earthquake rumbles. Rumbling, you remember, is a repeated, is a rigorous sound. Is a you can say is a continuous deep sound we call rumbling. Rumbling means a continuous deep sound. So when earthquake will happen, when the earthquake will happen, there will be the very rumbling sound. That means that continuously it will be, the earthquake will be happening and continuous sound will be coming, rigorous sound will be coming, a very deep and loud sound will be coming. So it will make a continuous deep sound. When the earthquake will happen, it will be a continuous deep sound will be made. So louder than the earthquake rumbles, that means louder than the sound of the earthquake, louder than a tidal wave. Tidal wave, so the second line tells us louder than a tidal wave. Tide, you know, when the storm comes, that wave, the gigantic wave, okay, the gigantic wave or the huge or the enormous wave, we call it a tidal wave. So when the storm comes, before that in the sea, there comes the tidal waves or the gigantic waves or the huge or the enormous waves. So louder than an ogre grumbles. Ogre is actually a kind of a creature which we find in fairy tales. Okay, so these are the creatures where we can see them in fairy tales. These are the creatures which actually they are like man-eater. That means they eat the flesh of human beings. Especially, it is believed that if you read these fantasy stories or the fairy tales, you will be finding that ogre are the creatures who are like a monster, who are like demon, who are like monster, and they here you will be finding that they eat the children or they eat the small child and all. So these are the creatures. In reality they don't exist, but we find the mention of them in fairy tales. Okay, so in reality they don't exist. They are the flesh eater, they are the you can say they are the man eater, we call them cannibal also. So these are the creatures who are called ogre, O-G-R-E, like monster. You remember, they are like monster and they eat human beings. So grumbles means actually if you go for the literal meaning of grumble, that is a complaining sound. Complaining sound that is created continuously. A sound of complaint, when you make a complaint in a very loud way, a complaining sound which is made rigorously or continuously. So here, and that also in a very bad tempered way, not in an ordinary way, in a very ill tempered, in a very bad tempered way, where the sound, a rigorous sound is made. That is what we call grumbling. Grumbling means continuous sound which is made in a bad tempered way. Next, as he stumbles through his cave. Now, why does he create the sound? Why does he create this grumbling sound? Why does he grumble? Because he is stumbling in his cave. Stumbling means what? When your feet hit something and you lose the balance. When your feet hit something in front of you and you lose the balance, you are about to fall, we call it stumbling. Okay? When your feet hitting something and you are about to lose your balance and you are about to fall down, we call it stumbling. Okay, so as he stumbles through his cave, when he is moving through his cave, when he is going through his cave, so that time he stumbled, that means his leg hit something and he is losing his balance and he is about to fall down. So that time he grumbles, he makes this sound, grumbling sound. Louder than stampeding cattle. Stampede, you have seen that stampeding actually is thrashing somebody's feet with your feet. So that is what we call stampede. That happens when you move in a very hurried manner, by a very narrow space, when many are passing that narrow place. So when somebody's feet is when somebody's foot is thrashed, we call it stampede. But here stampeding is what? Here stampeding is the cattle, they are moving in large in number. The cattle, as you know, the domestic animals, so they are moving large in number, and when they are moving large in number, they are pressing each other's leg, or they are kind of stampeding. So what is the meaning which is given in your book? A big groups of animals running in fear. When they run in fear, when they hurry up, when they in a very quick way they move. Because of that, when there is a collision, or you can say when there is when they hit each other's leg, we call it stampede. Okay, so stampeding cattle means when the cattle are moving in fear in a very quick way, that time they stampede. Louder than a cannon roars. Cannon is actually a kind of a huge gun which is used in the battle, and from the cannon it is actually placed on a wheel, and from the cannon the gunpowder is there. So this is loaded with the gunpowder. It will launch the projectile, and there will be created a huge high pitched sound, and there will be the ball of the bullets. The bullets will be passing like the balls. The bullet will be coming out of the cannons like a ball. So that actually the roaring of the cannon means when the bullets will be coming out of the cannon's mouth, and it will be passing, it will be coming out like a ball, and when the projectile will be launched, it is, as you know, it is loaded with the gunpowder. So because of that, it creates a very huge sound, it creates a very loud sound. Louder than a giant's rattle. Rattle is actually again a rigorous, or you can say a stopless sound, a rattling sound. When something is rubbed against something, when something is when something is something hits something, or something is rubbed against something, something like that, we call it rattling sound. So rattling sound means when something is rubbed against something, or when something a noise is created because of the because of something hits something, the noise of the things hitting against each other. When a thing hit again another thing, the sound which is created, we call it a rattling sound. Rattling sound. The louder than the giant's rattle. The giant is making a rattling sound. That's how loud my father snores. And last line, he is revealing the ultimate why he has said all these things, because he wants to make it clear that all the sounds I have mentioned till these two stanzas, the first stanza and in the second stanza, I have mentioned many sounds. Now, what was the purpose of mentioning all these sounds? That is being revealed in the last line. The poet is saying all these sounds are there. They are obviously very loud, they are obviously very high pitched, they are obviously very much huge and gigantic sounds. But then comes the conclusion. All these sounds are overshadowed, all these sounds are nothing if you compare these sounds to the sound of my father's snoring. When my father is sleeping, the nasal sound that comes out of his nose, the snoring sound, that is obviously, that will defeat all these sounds, that will overshadow all the sounds that I have mentioned. So that is the motive of this poem, and thus the poem becomes very humorous, very funny, when the poet first he is mentioning all these sounds in a very serious manner, and last he is revealing that because of this I was mentioning in order to make a comparison of all these sounds to that sound of my father's snoring. Okay, so this is all about this poem, a very funny one, a very interesting one. There is nothing to be confused of. I have explained all the meanings. You watch the video before you come to the live class, and then you will be finding the question answers are also being given here. So what you will do is that you will try to write these question answers in your copy, which question answers I am giving here, and also one more thing is that here you will be finding the pictures are given. Okay, here you can see the pictures which are given. The pictures are given in page number 80. Now here you don't need to draw the picture, but you can write that grumbles. Who grumbles? That picture, from the picture you can write, or picture wise you can write like eagle screams. Then waterfall is given here. So this way you will be writing it. Eagle screams, waterfall, rushing, then ogre, ogre grumbles. So this way you will be writing. Cannon roars, then thunder claps, then you will be finding the dragon blunders. So this way you don't need to draw the picture. You make it very clear. Before you ask it in the live class, here you will be finding the eagle. So what you will have to write? You will write E-A-G-L-E, eagle, and you will give a hyphen, and you will be writing screams. Then you will be finding the waterfall. What you will write? Waterfall, rushing. Then what you will find? The ogre grumbles. Okay, then you will be finding cannon roars. Then you will be finding thunder clap. Then you will be finding the dragon blunders. So this way you will be writing the answer. So you write this answer, and we shall be meeting in the live class. Thank you. Have a very nice day.